not perfect, it's a great example of an original car, because an original car is only original once. It can be restored 100 times over as per original, but it's never original. So you don't really know, is that how it came off the factory? You know, so if you have good examples and you can save it, you definitely want to do it. It's part of history. The one aside of it, of course, is our Betty Davis Woody. It's a 1940 Woody Super Buick, of course. This car was bought brand new by Warner Brothers. And it was in all of Betty Davis's movie, Now Voyager. George Washington Slept Here. It was in with James Cagney in White Heat. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but this and lack of words, but this was Betty Davis's car whore. This was in every one of her movies that she was doing. At the end of the stint, when she stopped doing movies, Warner Brothers restored the car and gave it to her as a gift, and then we bought it from her estate. Most people wouldn't drive it. We drive the wheels off it. I mean, it's a car. And we, you know, a lot of people like it. You see pictures from the movies. And if you watch the movies, it's all over it. It's a great car. And when you get to the shops, I'll show you. There's another Woody here that we just made all new wood for. 501 pieces. But yeah, and it's really cool. If you want to look in the car, I'll open the doors. Inside the car, the whole roof is wood, so it's like an upside-down boat. Everything is done, and the whole. And what they did was from the factory. This is a Beal body, and you had Beal, Hercules. That's the wood coachcraft builder, like a boat company. So Buick would have supplied the main part of the car, which would have been this, and the chassis with nothing on it. There would be nothing from here back. They'd get fenders, and then Beal would build the body. So, and then they would send it back to Buick, and then it would get sold off. So that's how those cars were built. And what we did was we actually went into records from Hercules and got the actual prints and all the stuff, and then made a whole new, because the body was really bad. When it gets rotted, there's nothing you can do with it. But I'll show you that later. This, of course, is a 50 Olds 88 convertible coupe. And you'll see how eclectic he is. I mean, I didn't plan this. So you've got Studebaker, Buick, Oldsmobile, Gardner, Nash, Studebaker, Chevy, Packard, Chrysler. It's crazy how eclectic he is. And of all the Buicks, you know, he doesn't really care for acceptance, even though he's a diehard. It's all about a certain thing that he has a look and a feel for a certain car. Great car. This they had up in this estate up in the Catskills. Great running car, of course. You know, V8. When they went to V8. This is a very weird car. We don't get many 20s cars because they're not really as drivable as cars that he really wants to drive. Because you know this goes 55, 60 on a good day down a hill. It's just, but it's a very neat car, and what it shows is, like, you know, in the 20s he's not collecting a Duesenberg because he should. You know, he likes an everyday man car. This is Gardner, Lycoming engine. Lycoming was built in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. This is a prototype car for, this is a 26 for the 27 year. They built this in 26. It's the only one, and we just drive it. It's like a Buick over here, so it's like a brother and sister, and it's just fun cars because he doesn't want to not represent the 20s in any way. The car side of it is a really cool Aero Coupe, 37 Studebaker, really neat back end. This car is all original except it's been painted once. I mean, the inside's not the greatest. What's that for? I don't need that. Do you need that? So, no. So this car we just picked up in Virginia, and if you really start looking around the car, it's all about, you know, styling and design. How this comes up and it feeds back into here. The rear window is an upside down V. The dash is cool in it, but you can see how original. All the rubber is just, you know, hard as a rock. You know, but it's a wonderful representation of an original car. Now, if I go restore it, well, now it's just another restored car. And you know, I know it's right, and you know, I'll document it and I'll photograph it and take 2,000 pictures as I go. But it's just nice, you know. This you know, it needs a lot of help. And you'll see why another reason. We have 10, 12 cars waiting for restoration, and you know, that doesn't slow him down from buying cars to restore. So you know, you can't restore him as fast as he wants to have them. Next car is a really rare car. This is a 1938. This is the only 6-cylinder 38 left in the world, convertible Nash, and it's in the registry and a big deal about it. But a very Art Deco car. Nash was very Art Deco. You walk around, you see the taillights, and you see kind of stuff. And you see the wonderful wood ornaments compared to a lot of the cars. Just a very Nash is known for Art Deco. Another thing with Nash, when we get to another car, remind me to show you a specialty about Nash. Like every manufacturer, when they got into the 40s, because so many of the cars looked like that same 40s style. I mean, we have, Mr. Bullery was born in 41. So we have pretty much a 41 of every make. Oldsmobile, Buick, Nash, Studebaker, Ford, it goes on and on and on and on. Chrysler, Dodge, I mean, and what he likes to do sometimes, we'll take all those cars out on a motorcade and we'll drive them and switch every 15 minutes. So you can feel the difference from one, even like Oldsmobile, Chevy, all of them. And it's amazing how different they even were back then. And he loves to compare this stuff. So everybody in the 40s wanted to get a niche. How are we going to get ahead? What's going to make you buy my car instead of your car? And Nash really was crazy. They installed a bed in their cars, all of them. The rear seat would fold up and make it into a sportsman, and the whole back end of the trunk was a bed. So I'll show you, and when we restore a car, we put all that back working how it should be. You know, don't skimp on anything, you know, so pretty neat, just something different. Here we have a nice little 34 Chevy two-door sedan. This is an older restoration, but I mean, just the style of it is fabulous. And of course, in the feeding in General Motors, back in the day, you had Cadillac, you had Buick, you had all the way down Oldsmobile, and all the way down your circuit down to Pontiac, and well, Chevrolet was down towards the bottom, unfortunately. And as you can see, this is a 34 Chevy, and when I show you a 34 Buick, you're going to see the difference. It's as they say, and they got that word, it's a Cadillac. I mean, those meant something back in the 30s and 40s. Even today, it's the Cadillac, meaning it's the best. And so the Buick is so much different than this. And the Buick had independent front suspension in 1934 already. Okay? The Chevy had a weird suspension. They were trying some stuff. But even inside General Motors' own flagship, they were like fighting each other. Like, well, we're going to do this. Well, why aren't you all doing this? I mean, it was ridiculous. Packard didn't even have independent suspension until 37, and Packard was supposed to be upper echelon, with their V12s and stuff. And the old buggy, I don't know if you drove old cars much, if anybody, but you have the old straight axle in the front, so you go down the road and the whole car just keeps doing this the whole way. You hit a bump and it's like, okay, and it slowly stops. When you got that independent front suspension, done. All of that was gone, instant, whole different ride. This is a baby Packard 1938 six-cylinder coupe. This car we bought at an auction in California, and it was robin egg blue. Somebody had did a restoration. It was really ugly, and he wanted to bring it back to the original glory. This is the smallest series Packard you could buy in 1938. Businessman's coupe, so it had no back seat. And the wonderful thing about this car is that the color and the interior and the dash is so unique with itself that every car that Mr. Bullery does, he picks the color, and he picks a factory color, whether it's two-tone, and we make spray outs and we try and document it, whether it's a solid color or it's a metallic, which they had back in the 30s and 40s. They had metallic, but the metallic back then was made from fish scales, not mica like we know it from rocks and granite and that kind of, that's what mica is made of now. So in order to get a really fine mica, so that it doesn't look like a bass boat, how the metal flake, and all the new cars, you look at a new car and it's like, boom, but you can't have that. It's almost going to look like a slate on a silver. So what we do to represent that is we take the finest mica we can buy today, but obviously I can't go out and use fish scales. I don't know, I guess I could, but that'd be really far out there. We take the finest mica and we actually put it through women's stockings to get rid of all the coarseness. And so all we got is like this really, almost like a light gray that you can hardly see the mica, because mica is all the metallic is actually the little pieces of stone, which is the mica, standing on edge, reflecting off of different edges, like a diamond would be. That's what a diamond does, like on your hand, well, you see the reflection coming off of the cuts. If it was perfectly flat, it wouldn't mean anything. So we represent that, and I'll show you on a metallic car that we did. You can't even see it's metallic unless you're outside, and then sometimes you have to look. So I make like 30 spray outs just for one color, until we get it right. Match the color charts, get Mr. Bullery to look at it. Yep, he's happy, you know, because he wants to be right. He wants the documentation for history, not about him. It's about the car and the history and keeping that, you know, current and alive down the road.